Good, happy Wednesday afternoon, November 4, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday afternoon, but first we're going to begin with COVID-19 updates. Also, still no winner in the president race. We will get to that. But first, let's go to your COVID-19 updates right now. And here is a look at those COVID-19 updates for all of you right now. There are 11,448 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 9,365,360 number of people in the United States have tested positive. 483 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 784 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 484 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where current cases of COVID-19 are. In Nashua, 76. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire where total cases of COVID-19 are. In Nashua, 1232. And now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalization. And red, deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases. In the purple, total current COVID-19 cases. And in the orange, current hospitalization. And let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalization. Red, deaths. And blue, recovered. And now let's take a look at this chart here, positive PCR test rate and daily PCR test. And let's take a look at this chart here, age group of cases, female and male of cases, and risk information. And let's take a look at this chart here, infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here, deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And let's take a look at this chart here. Your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, difficult breathing, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. And now let's get to your other big headlines. The election. 2020 election live updates and results. Millions of votes are still being counted, and still no president winning announcement yet. It is still being counted, millions of votes. Election day is turning into election week as the continuing of votes continue across the country, with primarily results showing tight races in several key battleground states. Candidates need 270 electoral college votes to secure the presidency. ABC News projects President Donald Trump currently has 213, while former Vice President Joe Biden has 225. Both Trump, the Republican incumbent, and Biden, his Democratic challenger, addressed the nation in early hours of Wednesday morning, each expressing confidence in the race for the White House. Trump invited about 400 people to the White House East Room for an indoor watch party as the election, considered by many a referendum on his handling of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, unfolded before them. In the weeks leading up to election, more than 100 million early votes were cast, shattering early turnout records across the country. The top headlines: Pennsylvania officials say they're approaching 50% of mail-in ballots being counted. Georgia's Secretary of State expects counting to be done by the end of the day. Way too early to call a winner in Pennsylvania, Attorney General says. Hundreds of thousands of ballots still uncounted in Michigan. Trump falsely declares victory on Wednesday morning around 2:30 a.m. He said, "We already have won." But that is false. No winner in the president race just yet. And at 12:09 p.m., update. Biden projected to win Maine. ABC News projects Biden will win 2 electoral votes in Maine. There is 1 electoral vote remaining in Maine. Also, Michigan may have unofficial results Wednesday. In Michigan, there are tens of thousands of ballots that still need to be counted, Secretary of State said on Wednesday. Random section of votes to be hand-counted in North Carolina. And we will keep you updated on all of this developing news as it still unfolds. But take a look at this election results. We can tell you that Joe Biden has 227, and to win you need 270. So he has 227, and Donald Trump only has 213 electoral votes, and you need 270 to win. So it will be very close. All eyes are on this to see who will the next president be for the United States. And now let's take a look at your full New Hampshire 2023 general election results for New Hampshire. And in the president race in New Hampshire, Joe Biden won New Hampshire. In the governor race in New Hampshire, GOP Chris Sununu, incumbent, won another term in office. U.S. Senate general race, Democrat Jeanne Shaheen, incumbent, won another term. U.S. House District 1, Democrat Chris Pappas, incumbent, won another term. And U.S. House District 2, Annie Custer, incumbent, won another term. And that is a look at your full New Hampshire 2020 general election results. New Hampshire, Londonderry, New Hampshire officials complete recount after voting machines memory card error. Recount of all ballots done in interest of transparency. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
In uncertain times, some buy gold like this, or like this. But that's not how the professionals...
Election officials in Londonderry were busy overnight doing a recount of 16,000 ballots. WMUR's Ray Brewer joins us live this morning with what led to that recount. Ray.
Aaron, the town clerk in Londonderry, says it was an incredible election day. Everything was going along beautifully until they got an error message in one of their voting machines. For 20 years, the town clerk says the voting machines have worked like clockwork, and they were planning on getting the results in early. And while that was true this year as well, for 3 of the machines, a 4th one came up with an error message traced to the memory card. The clerk says they tried numerous ways to troubleshoot it, including contacting other town clerks to see if they had solutions, but the card was unfixable. So they made the decision to recount all 16,000 ballots.
About 3 hours, we recounted every ballot. Our biggest priority was to keep transparency of our election and to keep the integrity of every ballot for each voter, and we really did. We accomplished that, Chris.
Now, the town clerk says that she's very grateful to all those volunteers that stayed overnight. And depending upon how you look at it, it was either a late night or a very early morning, but it wasn't unprecedented. The town clerk says 4 years ago they didn't finish until 3:30 in the morning. Reporting live, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Rally gains steam even with election uncertainty. Dow jumps 600 points. U.S. stocks climb on Wednesday, led by tech shares, even as the results of the presidential contest so far failed to yield a clear winner. A victory celebration without a victory. There's no winner yet in the presidential race. Americans woke up Wednesday morning without a winner of the presidential race, and that's okay. Critical battleground states including Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania remained without declared winners, leaving both President Donald Trump and Democrat Joe Biden short of the 270 Electoral College votes needed to win the White House. This isn't necessarily a surprise. In a year turned upside down by the coronavirus pandemic, many states made it easier to vote by mail, and millions chose to do so rather than venturing out to cast ballots in person. That meant a slowdown in the tabulation of results because voters received by mail often take longer to process than ballots cast at polling places. The delay doesn't signify a positive for one side or the other, even though it has provoked radical different reaction from each. Biden took an outdoor stage in Delaware shortly before 1 a.m. Wednesday and said the country needed more time to determine its next president, declaring, "Your patience is commendable. We know because of the unprecedented early vote, the mail-in vote, that it was going to take a while," Biden said. "We're going to have to be patient until the hard work of tallying the votes is finished, and it ain't over until every vote is counted." President Trump spent months rallying against expanding mail-in voting and suggesting without evidence that it could lead to widespread fraud, while improperly with equal fervor that the election should have a result on the same night the polls closed. In the early morning hours of Wednesday, he told a crowd of cheering supporters at the White House that he would challenge the election results before the Supreme Court, though it was unclear exactly what type of legal challenge he was proposing. It was a victory celebration without a victory. "We will win this, and as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it." That is not true. There is no winner just yet. That is very false. In fact, 120 million Americans spooked by the coronavirus pandemic had shattered records to vote early, and millions of ballots had yet to be counted in key battleground states. Neither Trump nor Biden had yet reached the 270 electoral college votes required to win the presidency. And we can tell you that number is for Biden 227 and Donald Trump 213. Still have not reached the 270 to win. That prompted a statement from the Biden campaign manager, who said, if the president makes good to his threat to go to the court to try to prevent the proper tabulation of votes, we have legal teams standing by ready to deploy to resist that effort, and they will prevail. Vote tabulations roughly continue beyond Election Day, and states largely set the rules for when the count has to end. The drama in the wee hours of Wednesday stood in stark contrast to the candidates' more valedictory tones on Election Day. As votes cast ballots across the country, Trump struck a sober tone at midday Tuesday as he thanked campaign workers at their headquarters in Arlington, Virginia. He also allowed, winning is easy. Losing is never easy. It's not. For me, it's not. Biden campaigned a final time in his hometown of Pennsylvania and in Philadelphia, as well as in Wilmington. He spoke to the CEO of a community center for teens and visited a pool where he worked as a teenager. The only thing you know is tradition are made to be broken. There's just so much to play right now, and such overwhelming votes out there, he told reporters, while the voting was still underway. If there were no results Tuesday night, he promised, I'll wait till the votes are continued and counted the next day. The results, or lack of them, left Americans with little to do but wish for an escape. Laughing gas helped me through labor, and I really wish I had some right now, a person tweeted. The niece of Biden's running mate Kamala Harris tweeted that. Associated Press writes Zeke Miller in Washington and Alexander Jeffrey was in Wilmington, Delaware for the Biden campaign, and Zeke Miller was in Washington for the Trump campaign. And that does it for this afternoon edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this afternoon edition. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.